back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. Brundi, we've had some really interesting hockey over the past couple of days that we're gonna get into right away here. One of the main ones being, the Jets are no longer unbeatable. They
Yeah.
are they're still 15-3, so they're doing fine, but a 2-game losing streak. They haven't had one yet this year.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
hadn't
yeah,
yet.
they were the first one. It was a tough stretch. It was a tough back-to-back nights for them. But again, we knew that it was going to happen eventually. Like, no team is going to go like they were going to lose eventually. And it was against two very good teams. I mean, yeah, like you had to put your backup in Eric Comrie, who's been very good for them. Like, not saying he's a bad goalie, but yeah, it was just a tough stretch for him, but I fully expect them to get back on the wagon and keep plugging along though.
And I did see some Jets fans being like, "Man, our offense has looked real rough in the last two because they scored one against Tampa and then they got shut out against Florida, but even in that Tampa game, they looked dangerous. Like
Yeah.
4-1 does not really tell the story. I don't remember correctly, but I want to say there was an empty netter, so like 3-1. Like it was still a very close game.
Yeah, no, it was a very close game, but between them, like even though the Jets were losing, it was like it didn't feel like they were out of it. Like it was like they could easily just go,
Yeah.
Send it to overtime and then win it type of thing. Florida game, 5-0, very, very different story there.
Which is actually
like it
what
happens.
Hellebuck played for, which is interesting. Yeah. But I mean, Florida just won the cup. Like everyone had them making the playoffs at least, like probably being near the top of the division. They currently are. So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried if I'm a Jets fan, but there's very often that one team that just has such an incredible start to the year that after a certain point, even if people like a lot of people like the Jets, they're not a team that is very hated. And even at a certain point, everyone's like, all right, these guys got to start losing. Like at a certain point, everyone's like, all right, nobody gets to win 70 games in a season. So
yeah, exactly right. Like it'd be cool to see, like when we talk about stuff that would be really cool to see. Like a couple years ago, we were talking about, oh, no one's gonna hit 70 goals, and now it's like could very well happen to be cool. It'd be cool to see a team win 70 games, but not gonna happen in this day and age. Like I mean, it could, but it's very, very unlikely.
Really.
Yeah, it's just very unlikely, and Winnipeg's still the best team in their division. They're still a top 3 team in the league right now. If you still want to say they're one, I'm not going to argue with you on it. So
yeah,
they'll be fine. It happens to every team. Like San Jose, they're still a bottom team, but they won, what was it, 3 games in a row? Might have been 4.
I think they had at least 3.
But like it's
5-3 and 2 in their last 10.
Yeah, so it just goes to show like anything can happen in this league, and you can't take a small sample of games and be like, oh, this is what it is. It's like, no, good teams go through bad stretches, bad teams go through good stretches. It's part of the game, and that's what makes the NHL so entertaining. Is anything can happen on any given night, regardless of who are playing each other.
Yeah, like hockey really is one of the most unpredictable sports at a professional level. Like in the NFL or the NBA, very rarely, if a team's really good and the other team's like not even a playoff team, very rarely are they gonna upset them and upset them big if they do. Like every once in a while, you'll just see, the Blackhawks will just go out there and beat a top contending team 5-1, and it's like, oh, okay, like that just happened.
I noticed in that sentence there, you used the word upset and Winnipeg. Obviously, we are based up here in Canada, so for any of our Canadian listeners, they already know. But Winnipeg Blue Bombers upset again in the Grey Cup, losing to Toronto, the Argonauts. So congratulations to the Toronto Argonauts and to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I mean, hell of a season. You know, you're
Yeah.
on the verge of, we're on the verge of a dynasty. Not anymore. I think if you know, the fact that they made it to 5 Grey Cups in a row is impressive in itself, but if you lose 3 in a row, you're out of dynasty territory now.
You would have liked to have 3 in those 5 years,
You
but
needed to win 3 in that 5 years. Even if they win one next year, I still don't think I
oh
would call
no,
it a dynasty
if
because
they
you
win one
lost
next year,
3 years in a row.
no, 100% they are. Like sick, not
Nah.
because that means
If
they
you
get
lose
back.
3 years in a row,
That means
it's
they get back though. 6 in a row, they get to the freaking finals. Like that
see,
in and alone
but
is
it is
very
the
impressive
CFL. It's
to also
like,
win 3.
you
That
know,
is true. It's
if
not
you win in your division, because there's only the East and West, you only actually have to win one game to
I guess. How many teams are
get
there?
there. So 9 in total.
9?
Hopefully 10.
Okay.
We're hoping for 10. COVID kind of messed that up, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
But
It's a bit of a
moving
different.
forward, we have a lot of goalie talk. This is going to be a very um, yeah, goalie heavy episode, I would say, as there's lots to discuss when looking at goalies. I have to pull up some stats for an argument I'm going to make. So, Braden, let's talk
Is this
about.
the argument you said that you didn't want to point out
Yeah,
to me
I'm
beforehand?
keeping you in the dark on it. You're
Okay. I'm
locked away
really
right now.
I also have something that you don't know about, and I hope it's not the same thing
No, 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 no.
because mine is also goalies.
Okay, no, my agenda is probably, well, you know what? Once I make my case, I think people will agree with it.
Okay.
Um,
Mine's a little more trivia, so I don't think we're
okay.
talking about the same thing then.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. But if you want to start off with the history making goalie here.
Yes. So, for those who were able to catch the Lightning and Jets game, that was Andrei Vasilevsky's 300th NHL win in his career. He's the fastest goaltender to reach 300 wins. He did so in 490 regular season games, beating out Jacques Plante, who did it in 521. So, I mean, Jacques Plante in that time also won like lowball at 5 Stanley Cups because it was in the 50s, 60s with the Canadians.
Mhm.
So the fact that he beat that record by 31 games is absolutely just outstanding. Obviously, everyone knows how good Vasilevsky is, and this is really an indictment of that. But also, it does, people love saying how, wins is a goalie stat, but also a team stat. And that's incredibly fair. And it, speaks to how consistently good Tampa has been over, since he became the starter. So, uh,
Speaks a
yeah,
lot to how good of a coach John Cooper is too, because he's been there.
yeah.
I think what Vasilevsky's entire career
Oh,
that he's
easily. He's
so far. So
head coach
it
since
speaks to so many
2011.
different things. How good Vasilevsky is. Like, we know he's still, uh, a couple years ago he was unanimously the number one goalie. Even today, you can still say he's the number one. And not many people are going to fight you on it, maybe except Rangers and Jets fans. But yeah, like Vasilevsky, we know how good he is. The team, for a goalie to put up wins, they can be the best goalie in the world. You still got to have a team in front of you that's good, that's helping you. You got to have a good system through the coach. Vasilevsky gets the shine, but really everything surrounding Tampa Bay needs to be acknowledged there.
Yeah, and it was super cool to see it happen again, especially since we went on a 4-game losing streak against, teams like the Flyers. It was nice to see him get that, only letting in 1 goal against the, at the time, what was it, 15-1 Jets. So that was pretty cool. He
Yeah,
only let in 1 and then followed it up with a shutout against the Devils, who were, the Jets and Devils were the number 1 and 2 offensive team at the time in the entire league. So he's heating up, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
yeah, it's always fun when a goalie's on a bit of a hot streak and heating up. Speaking
Yeah,
of the
goalies are
goalie,
very easy to cheer for. Like they have to
yeah,
go out of their way they have to go out of their way like Jordan Binnington style for people to really actively cheer against a goalie. I feel like.
yeah. Speaking of goalies that people love, and on a hot streak right now. Jonathan Quick, actually, he has shutouts in consecutive starts for the New York Rangers and currently has a shutout streak of 128 minutes and 5 seconds. He's 4-0 on the season with a 0.91 goals against and a 970 save percentage at 38 years old. Really impressive stuff from Jonathan Quick here right now.
So obviously, given the caliber of the talent we listed in the episode talking about the Four Nations American team, obviously it was goofy to mention a backup, but you do see why I threw his name out there now.
Yeah. But counter argument, the only way he's getting in there is if you pull Swayman, which I don't think you do that. Like Quick's been very good. No discredit to him, but when you're talking about him being in, the guy that you would have to pull out would be Jeremy Swayman. It's
a bit of a goofy argument to begin with, but also it probably doesn't matter because you got Hellebuck and Ottinger in front of him.
Exactly right. But you are bringing up Four Nations Faceoff, and that's what I'm here to present my argument to you for here today.
All right.
We're talking about Canada. I didn't really, I'm bringing this up here now, but it's because I saw an article kind of highlighting two goalies who are getting a lot of attention now, kind of surrounding their names in being in consideration for Team Canada. The first one,
I got to imagine I know one of them.
I don't think there should be any argument for this because this guy's been balling out all season long on a new team. A team that we didn't think was going to be very good. Logan Thompson.
Oh, that is not
9 games played with the Capitals, 24 goals against. He is 8-0-1, a 2.63 goals against average, and a 913 save percentage. He's been off to a very hot start, and I think there's got to be some strong consideration for him to be on this team.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing very well, and, it's not like I've caught a lot of Capitals games, but they're, not exactly renowned for their defensive play. But, yeah, he's put up very solid numbers to start the year, and he doesn't have a ton of competition going in with Team Canada, so if he can keep this up, going closer and closer to the time they have to submit the rosters, I don't think anyone would blame them for taking the swing on him.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think he definitely, like, I'm not saying he should be on the team, but looking at it now,
you can't write
Stuart
him off,
Skinner shouldn't be considered for Team Canada, in my opinion, based off this season. But the guy that I think, and this is where my argument starts from, because I read an article of someone trying to present this idea, Mackenzie Blackwood.
You were. So I had 2 other guys that I thought you might mention, and you didn't mention the main one I was thinking of. So
who's one you're thinking of?
Cam Talbot, who is currently
Cam Talbot. People have talked about, yes.
Yeah,
he actually is another
927 on the year so far.
Yeah, he is another one.
Games.
So this is my argument. To present an argument, I got to present who goes in, who goes out, and it's going to be Stuart Skinner not making it, and Mackenzie Blackwood, who should be making it. So the Sharks, not a very good team. High danger shots against. They are tied for first in the league with Montreal, 54. Edmonton is down at 30. So 24 differential there. Medium danger shots against. San Jose is in second with 128 against. Edmonton is all the way. Where are they here? They are all the way down at 23, 98. So again, you're 30 apart on that.
I don't suppose you have them there per game if it has it sorted there. I don't know if
no
puck or not. Okay.
No, actually, yeah, I am, but it doesn't do per game.
Oh, okay.
Or at least not that I can see. So obviously, San Jose, a much worse defensive team on the season. Stuart Skinner, a 3.29 goals against average, an 877 save percentage. He does have 1 shutout. Mackenzie Blackwood has a 2.98 goals against average, but a 914 save percentage, also with a shutout. Stuart Skinner playing in 12 games, Mackenzie Blackwood playing in 11. So basically the same amount of games played. Blackwood on a much worse team. Actually, you won't like this, but in terms of advanced offensive analytics and defensive analytics, San Jose has the worst defenseman in the league right now, currently in Jan Ruda, which I know you may not like that.
That's
like,
our boy.
He's been playing better. He's been putting up better stats on a much worse team. He's facing a lot more high danger chances and still producing better numbers.
Not only that, but he's very consistently saving those particular high danger chances. He is, out of the entire league, he is third in high danger unblocked shot attempt save percentage above expected. He's at 0.189. That doesn't sound like a lot, but third in the league. There's who's a couple of spots below him. Vasilevsky, 5 more spots below him. Shesterkin. A lot of those guys are way down. Hellebuck's at 35th, apparently.
Oh.
For that. Interesting. He makes the routine saves. You need that.
That's my argument. I'm not saying, Blackwood should be on the team. I think you've got 3 incredible guys you can kind of pick between Blackwood, Logan Thompson, and even Cam Talbot, who you mentioned, that are, they're all outshining the guys that were presumed to be the goalies going into this season. It was kind of Aiden Hill and Stuart Skinner were kind of the 1-2. Both have struggled.
A lot of people are talking about
good teams. Binnington, again, I'm not going to sit here and be like I'm the biggest Binnington fan. I think he's been better than Aiden Hill and Stuart Skinner. So if you're looking between the 3, I would pick Binnington out of those 3 if I could only pick one.
Which, honestly, in my opinion, means none of those 3 should be on the team. Because if Binnington's the best out of them, this year he's at an 886 save percentage. It hasn't been great. And, the one thing he has kind of as a bid over the other guys is he's got a cup. We know he can win when it matters most. You know how much guys within the NHL and just sports in general love that kind of stuff.
They love that argument, yeah.
Honestly, right now, I think somebody should have to take a spot, whether it's the starter or backup, from Cam Talbot, with his play in the past and this year. And honestly, I would not have a problem putting Mackenzie Blackwood as the starter or backup, whichever Talbot doesn't have. Looking at these stats here, he is one of the best goalies in the league currently at saving those high danger chances. He's also one of the best in the league at saving the medium danger chances. There's a lot of bad stats for the good goalies I'm looking at here, and his are very good. The only part of his game that's really at all average or lacking is the low danger chances. But if you're playing in the Four Nations Faceoff, I don't know how many weak wristers are going to be flying all the way through and finding the net. I feel like you need a guy who can stop Austin Matthews when he gets a breakaway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
A guy who can put up what does he have? What did you say he had? A 914? Yeah, 914 save percentage on the Sharks. What can he do on Team Canada?
Yeah, exactly right. So again, I'm not saying he should be, but I think he's definitely, well, not all I think so, because it's originated from an article. So there's a sense out there that, his name is coming up in talks now. And I think rightfully so. Not saying he should be on the team, but I think he's definitely earned the right to be a strong candidate for the team again.
Yeah.
Because I think the door is still wide open. The other 3, you look at US, Sweden, Finland. It's pretty locked in on who's going to be kind of their starter and backup. I mean, Canada, it's still wide open. It's anyone's game really still. So I'm curious to see how it ends up and what direction they go in, because
who did we have for?
It's really interesting.
Who did we have for Sweden?
Who did you have? Oh, Yeah, who did you have? Because you had Sweden. I don't have the roster here. I only have the one for Finland and US. You had
is Saros
Allmark.
Saros is Finnish.
You had Allmark. You had Markstrom, I think, is the. Oh, you had Gustafsson. You had Gustafsson in there.
Right.
With Allmark, and then Markstrom was the third.
Right. Because I was just looking, and right now, Philip Gustafsson is tied with Cam Talbot and Anthony Stolarz for best save percentage in the league at 927.
Yeah.
Yep. Gustafsson's looking like a real good pick right now.
He's looking like a really strong pick right now, yep.
I think he at least needs to be in the conversation.
Not to mention, because I know Allmark's stats aren't very good. Medium danger shot against, Ottawa's the lowest, 68. High danger, they are 10th. They're tied with Buffalo, Tampa, and Edmonton. So, like, yeah, high danger, Minnesota actually is the lowest. Medium danger, Minnesota second lowest. But still, Gustafsson's been playing good, so
and you know what?
He'll be on the team, I think, for sure. Whether he's the starter backup, I think he's kind of solidified his spot on the team.
Yeah. And you know what? It is interesting you bring that up because sorting, so I have it minimum games played 8, and then I'm sorting by save percentage. Then I go scroll over to the high danger shot attempt or shots save percentage above expected. So who is doing more than they think? When you sort by save percentage, all of these guys are incredibly above what they should be doing, except for Gustafsson. He's saving less than they would expect on the high danger chances. So there are arguments out there that for, he couldn't stop the breakaways and he can't stop the power play shots. And maybe that's exactly what you need in those tournaments. So I genuinely wonder how many, there's so many stats you can find online, so many in-depth stats about all kinds of stuff. I do wonder how many of them get brought up every time a guy goes to extend a contract, sign a new contract. Are in negotiations, are they just going back and forth on he saves all these breakaways, look how good he is, and it's yeah, but that means he's letting in garbage goals,
yeah.
Or is it as easy as win column, save percentage, comparable, give me my money?
Yeah.
It makes you think.
Wrapping up at least my portion of Goalie Talk, the only thing left is sticking with San Jose. They have recalled Yaroslav Askarov up from the AHL as Vitek Vanacek is out with an injury. So if you love good goalie prospects, there's not many other places to look. Whether you say Askarov's 1 or 2, he's undoubtedly in the top 2 for goaltender prospects in the league. And it's going to be very exciting to see him get the opportunity. We've seen a little bit with Nashville, looked very good. He's been torching it up in the AHL. Actually, I'll pull it up because I didn't know until I saw earlier today his numbers in the AHL so far, small sample size, but have been nuts. 9 games played, has a .939 save percentage, a .192 goals against with 2 shutouts on the year.
Yeah,
so been balling out in the AHL, and it'll be exciting to see when he gets his crack to play with the Sharks in the NHL and see how he does.
Yeah, I mean, if he's anything like a guy like Dustin Wolf, who at least for 2 years has dominated the AHL. Dustin Wolf, 9 games played for the Flames this year, a .921 save percentage. I actually got to watch him get his first career shutout live against the Predators the other day. If Askarov can, pull off a similar entry to the league like that, that's just going to be so sick for the Sharks, especially also having Mackenzie Blackwood in the crease.
Yeah, actually, I don't know who it was. Nobody told me who. But with Askarov getting recalled today, I had 3 people text me saying Mackenzie Blackwood was traded to Pittsburgh. So I don't know who it was. It was obviously a notable enough figure that people thought it was real enough to text me. But apparently there was something out that Blackwood got traded to Pittsburgh, it was obviously deleted, so not happening, but that means there's teams out there calling about Blackwood. And I think if Askarov comes up and plays very good, there's if he's good enough to be in the NHL now, there's no reason to put him back in the AHL. So San Jose will have a decision to make on what they do with their goalies, whether you trade Blackwood or Vanacek, whatever you do, but they might have some decisions they got to make pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's lots of teams out there that are in need of a goalie.
There's a lot of
there's at least 3 off the top that need a goalie, otherwise they're in trouble.
And there's always the one major one everyone always thinks of in the Colorado Avalanche. Man, you could hold them up for Mackenzie Blackwood. Dude, they need a goaltender.
Yeah.
They've had a couple guys come in and have a few good games, but not much that sticks. I do wonder what the price, what a price would look like for that, because obviously it's Mackenzie Blackwood. I don't think you're getting anything massive, but if he's having a really good year.
Let me just find it here, because someone did send what the trade was, and I was like, you know what? I don't even hate it. It did make sense to me because there was a goalie coming back, which I was like, if San Jose is moving out Blackwood, they don't need another goalie. The deal was with Pittsburgh. It was Alex Nedeljkovic, Sam Poulin, and a second-round pick. Sam Poulin, 23 years old, former first-round pick, 2019. Only played 3 games so far at the Penguins, no points. So you're getting another, not as high, but another Philip Zadina type guy, a first-round pick that hasn't panned out. You're hoping he can work. You're getting Nedeljkovic. Okay, and then a second-round pick, which
Nedeljkovic has not been good for them.
No goalie's been good for Pittsburgh this year.
They do have, I want to say, is it Joel Blomqvist? He's had a couple of decent games. He's a rookie that's come up for them.
I think he's back in the AHL now because they brought Jari back up from his little conditioning stint.
Who knows how long he'll stay up.
Not much conditioning looks like was done there, but so.
Honestly,
but again, if that's what the deal was, yeah. So apparently this draft, the 2025 draft, apparently it's not the greatest so far early on. The talent is loaded up front in terms of the top 5. But yeah, when you're talking about how much teams are valuing picks last year, because the draft was so good throughout the first round and it was a deep draft. In this draft, I don't think a second round pick holds as much value as it did last year or even the year before. And I think if you're going to trade Blackwood, you might as well put it out there and just create a bidding war. You get Pittsburgh needs a goalie, Colorado does. I'm really starting to think Edmonton needs to maybe make a move. Stuart Skinner really just hasn't been cutting it so far this year, and at least bring something in to create some competition or something at least.
And San Jose
and
is
there's
also
other
a team
teams out there.
San Jose is also a team that, if you ask them in the trade to eat up a little bit of extra cap on, some guy that is making $2 million that you just need to move out, they can definitely do that. So, it could be the perfect trade partner for a lot of those teams. Yeah. I would not be surprised if it happened at some point this year. Whether they end up wanting to keep Blackwood and maybe move out Vanacek, or they want to cash in on Blackwood.
Vanacek's been solid as well. His cap hit's not as great as Blackwood's in terms of making a deal. But he's still been very solid for San Jose. There is the injury concerns of him not being able to stay fully healthy, and same with Blackwood. But yeah, it's out there. So maybe create a little bidding war and drive that value up.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
But moving on.
No more goalies.
Moving off from those goalies there.
Until we talk about them at the very end. But that's a little trivia we got.
What do we got here?
We got...
Pick your point.
Yeah, we got... of course, we're talking about these two guys back to back. We got Sidney Crosby, who is currently sitting at 599 career goals. He is 1 away from 600. Tampa's next game is against the Penguins. So That makes
Might as
me a
well
little
rip one on
nervous.
Vasi to get 600.
I mean, dude, Crosby's not the kind of guy who's gonna sit on 599 for very long. I'm
Yeah,
hoping we
no.
can shut him out, but like Crosby's not gonna stay there for more than 3 games at most.
Yeah,
So
no.
I gotta imagine it's on its way pretty soon. But
Yeah.
man, he's so good at playmaking. Obviously, the time missed due to lockouts and COVID, and not to mention the possibly hundreds of games he's missed due to injury. The fact that he's still
Yeah, it doesn't get talked
producing how
about
much
enough.
he is as he's hitting 600 is just phenomenal. Like,
Yeah. It really sucks when people are talking about the two guys that always come to mind for me is Crosby and Stamkos. And it's like,
yeah,
people talk about them, but it's like, just imagine if they didn't miss as much time as they did. Like,
yeah,
like people are like, oh, I mean, and this isn't McDavid slander who did get his 1000th point, did get it on a goal. Kind of wish it came in overtime off of that nasty assist, but
that was a great
people
pass.
are already like, oh, McDavid at his point right now is way better than Crosby ever was when he was, at the point where McDavid. That's like, okay, but like when you look at Crosby when he's younger, he was fucking good, and how much of his prime he missed. Again, I'm not starting the McDavid Crosby debate because that's a debate that could go on till the end of time, in my opinion. But like we are robbed of so much of his prime. Stamkos with his injuries, like where would he be at on the all-time goals list if he
Yeah,
didn't miss as much time as he did during his prime? Like
yeah,
it
it's
just
so
sucks to
tough.
think about how much and just to see what their stats would be like now if they hadn't even if they only missed half the amount of time that they missed. Where would they be at?
Yeah, like
We are robbed.
absolutely. Like I I genuinely think Crosby would. Is it crazy to say that Crosby would be nearing 2,000 points if he had never been injured? Like
What's he at now?
1,615. Like he
um
like that
hmm.
one season where he only got to play 22 games and then he got concussed. He had 37 points in those 22 games.
Yeah, and the year before he had 66 and 41. He had 32 goals in 41 games in that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Like,
you even look at the kind of half lockout year where they only played, I think it was like 40 something games.
and
Um,
I don't doubt that without that, maybe he gets 5 to 10 more points on every other subsequent season afterwards. Who knows if it affected him long term? Like it's very hard to argue. It's a lot of what ifs, but um, I think he would at least be at 1,800, uh, probably around 1,900, if I had to
yeah.
guess, somewhere in there. But I think he would basically be a lock to hit 2,000 at some point. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's too bad we didn't get that. And like you said with Stamkos as well, like honestly, without some of his injuries, notably the broken leg, like he's currently at 561 goals. First off, I think he's probably still with Tampa. If that doesn't happen, I think because one of the biggest things is his skating slowed down. He's probably at 600 some goals already, like
Would you say he's at now?
561.
Oh, he's well over 600.
Yeah, I think he's probably close to some high 600s, maybe 700.
I was
Like
going to say at
I
the
think
bare
we have a
minimum 650 probably.
I think at that point we're having a genuine conversation of okay, is OV catching Gretzky? Which at this point in the season we're going, yeah, everyone knows he is again. Um, but we're also having the conversation: does Stamkos catch Gretzky and OV, or OV? And then on top of that, we can also have that conversation of does Matthews catch any of those three? Does Bedard catch any of the four ahead of him? Like, it's so fun to watch these guys and try and project it. And it sucks when it's like this guy's gonna end up a couple hundred short because
Mhm. I don't
just
think
random.
Stamkos would have been up, to Gretzky and where Ovi's at now, but he would definitely be much much higher on the list than where he's at right now. Like
He,
he would be levels above. I don't even know where he's at all time on the list, but he would be much higher than wherever he's at right now. Like
yeah,
much higher.
he. more than Crosby he is so hard to project, because if you look at his goals and assists per season, like just looking through seasons, for rookie season, same amount of goals and assists, more goals, one more assist than goals, 60 goals, more goals, more goals, more goals, more goals, broken leg, more assists, more assists, more assists, tied, more assist, more assist, more assist. He hasn't had
Shit,
more goals and
yeah.
assists since the leg.
Yeah. You
If
know
he
what?
keep
You know
if he
what?
keeps shooting
Yeah.
with Kucherov in his prime, like it's an argument you
No,
can never know the answer to.
you make a good point there actually when you put it into perspective that way.
Maybe he's on
Fuck, you know what?
Kucherov's wing for longer, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need Gensel, but unfortunately that's not the timeline we're in. And you know, you can also say the same thing about Ovechkin. Obviously he has not had the injuries of basically anybody. The only comparable injury history is Patty Marleau, because they never get injured. But,
Yeah.
you know, couple of lockouts, couple of COVID shortened seasons, he could already be at 900 if we didn't miss a bunch of those. Especially the one that was pretty close to his prime in, what was it, 2011, 2012?
Yeah.
So it's hard to argue, but, you know, the thoughts are there.
Yeah. Speaking of goals, staying on the goals topic, Alex Ovechkin puts up a hat trick the other night against the Vegas Golden Knights. 28 goals away from tying Gretzky's all-time goals record. 29 away from breaking it. Going into the season, we were talking about, does he break it this year? If not, he breaks it next year. And it was like, okay, and he's breaking it this year now, it looks like. Now it's like, shit, by the trade deadline, we're going to be, in and around waiting for that moment, because he has been just scoring an unbelievable rate, and he's been one of the driving forces. It's made this Capitals team looking like one of the best in the league right now so far.
Yeah, plus 13. He's looking for a Selkie as well. Like, he's got 13 and 17, 23 points. Like, he's absolutely turned back the clock. Yeah, like it's just crazy. Like, his drop off last year was so stark. And you look at his season stats, you don't see it that much. But if you were paying attention throughout the year, you'll know that if you look at his stats like after February, he was playing at the rate he's basically playing at now. Before
Yeah.
that, I don't know if he was at replacement level, but like if his name wasn't Ovechkin, it might have been genuinely close. He was bad for several months. So the fact that he's this insane, like just like a switch, he just turned it back, finished out the season, picked right up where he left off this year. I'm pretty sure in one of my early season predictions, I can't remember the exact number. I think it was either 15 or 20, and I took the under on his goals.
Oof.
Like, he is going to crush that prediction that I put in. I think I predicted under 20 goals.
My Ovechkin for Ted Lindsay pick not looking so dumb now, is it?
No, it's not. Like,
It's looking really good.
It's looking
I'm
real good.
proud of it. I'm proud of Ovi. I love
Out of
watching
all of
him
our
ball out
predictions, that's got to be right up there for some of the closest.
Yeah. We were just talking about Crosby and now Ovi. This happened while you were away, so we didn't get to talk about it at the time. And I'm just remembering it now. Did you see the stat? It was you. I know you weren't able to watch a lot of the games really while you were away on vacation, but the NHL, they do their weekly 3 stars based on the play of every player. I don't know what position they were in, but Crosby and Ovechkin were both in the NHL's 3 stars of the week.
Yeah,
That was the first time it's ever happened, which I
which
thought was nuts. I thought that was absurd. That's the
so
first
goofy.
time Crosby and Ovechkin were both in the NHL's 3 stars of the week.
That is so insanely goofy. I do remember actually seeing that stat, because that was everywhere, because it's just so crazy that it's never happened. Like, these guys were trading trophies back and forth, whether it be the Hart, the Lindsay, like the Rocket for a while. Even Crosby won a couple of those. Like, the fact that they never both popped off more than anyone else in a given week is honestly silly. So
yeah, So just a
happening
little
for the
shout
first
out
time
there
in
too.
2024
Yeah.
is awesome.
What do we have left? The only thing we have left is before your final thing for us, Ryan Reeves suspended 5 games for his hit on Darnell
Yeah.
Nurse. What are we
I
thinking of that?
I don't like thinking about it because I don't like any conclusions I come to. I think 5 games is fair-ish. I wouldn't mind a couple more games because it's Ryan Reeves and he's got a history of being suspended for similar-ish antics. Maybe not headshotting necessarily, but I think I saw his last suspension was for roughing, which I thought looked weird on paper. But suspended for 5 games, it's Ryan Reeves. What was he at most? He's probably playing 3 of those 5. Like, is he even consistent in their lineup this year? So
No.
it rubs me the wrong way a bit just because he brained Nurse with a blindside headshot. I actually have no idea on Nurse. I haven't heard any.
He's out 5 to 10 days. They're saying.
Okay, and honestly, that's pretty much the best case scenario they could have hoped for. You know, that's one of their best defensemen. At the very least, it's a guy making a lot of money, and that really screws over the Oilers and could screw over Darnell Nurse's career going forward. And it sucks that the team's not going to take much of a hit for it. The player is, I guess he'll lose some wages for 5 games, but like, yeah, it didn't really hurt the team much. They didn't get scored on the ensuing 5-minute power play. So it's just a shitty situation all around. And thank God that it looks like Nurse is more or less all right and will be back soon.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I 5 games is kind of what I thought it was going to end up being. Just because that's kind of been the precedent. Like, when I watched it, the first thing I thought of was who was last year? Brendan Gallagher. That blind side kind of chicken wing elbow he threw out there. He got 5 games for that. And so that was kind of the first thing I thought. I was like, okay, well, if Gallagher got 5 years for that, Reeves at least needs to get 5 games. If you want to go more, sure, whatever. It really doesn't affect Toronto that much. Like, it's not like Toronto's like, oh, fuck, we lost Reeves. Do they care? I don't even think they really care that much.
Exactly. And that's the part that's annoying to me. Like, that it's kind of, Reeves lose a bit of wages in the games lost, but it kind of no skin off Toronto's nose. And it sucks when it was such a vicious hit. Like,
not only does it hurt Edmonton with Nurse out, means Bouchard's got to play more. He's going to be throwing more muffins up the middle or refusing to back check when a guy gets a breakaway.
That was so bad. I've seen so many people talking about that one where he threw it and it bounced off McDavid in front. That's bad. Don't get me wrong. I can't believe people are focused on that more than the back check.
I'm more focused on the back check. The back check
online
is the one
seems to focus on the other one, but that back check, that's shocking.
It was sad.
That looked like JT Miller when he was at his worst, when he clearly despised playing on the Canucks at the time. Like, when they were looking to trade him, and apparently he just became a Selke candidate at some point, which sounded goofy at the time. But
and the worst part is,
Bouchard was so far ahead of anyone to get to that puck, and he goes completely vertical. It had shades of Pierre-Luc Dubois when he was really upset in Columbus, and he just stopped playing. Like, and Ekholm is skating his ass off to catch whoever on the Leafs went up and grabbed the puck and scored. He was trying so hard to cover for the guy who was 10 feet ahead of him closer to the puck. Like, that. Yeah. That's bad. That legitimately cost Evan Bouchard. If I'm the GM of the Oilers, and I'm
you're bringing that video to your contract negotiations.
He should have lost at least $1 million right there. Maybe not per year, but he lost in total wages, absolutely at least $1 million.
The worst part is, right, if it was like, oh, he was out there for an extended amount of time and whatnot, yada, yada, okay, sure. But the fact that right after the goal is scored, he immediately turns and, like, you can see him just beeline it to the bench, or maybe he didn't know the puck went in. He was going to like grab the puck as it bounced out. He hauled ass there. So it's like, why didn't you do that on the back check? You clearly had some gas left in the tank. You could still give it out there, but you didn't want to.
Yeah.
It's like,
at no point in the play did he look tired. You can tell when guys are tired and they're trying to skate and they're like, I just can't. Lactic acid, I'm tired, I'm gassed. Like, it happens.
yeah.
No, he took a couple strides and looked over, saw Ekholm busting his ass and went, oh, okay, I can take the day off, and just watched. That was painful to watch. Like, that was bad.
And I will say, and this goes back to our previous talk about the Four Nations Faceoff. I can't remember off the top of my head who's GM of for Canada. I know Cooper is.
I know. Brisebois
coach.
is a co-GM, and I think there's one more co-GM. I think they don't have a full one.
Let me see here.
Don Sweeney is the GM.
Don Sweeney. Okay. Like if you're Don Sweeney and you've been and you got to be doing your homework for this, right? Because there's a lot of bragging rights in this, and a lot of the players are going to take it serious. Like if you're Canada, in no world,
played off. Yeah.
In no world can you have Noah Dobson and Devin Bouchard on the team. If you want to have one, okay, but if you have both, you're in trouble. Those are guys that have such high offensive skill, but they are some of the worst in terms of playing defense. And I like both players. Like they're both fun to watch. I love watching them in the offensive zone and their skill. But in the defensive zone, they're lazy. Even when they're not lazy, their defensive hockey IQ isn't the greatest. I think you're doing your team a massive disservice by having both of them on your team, especially both being right-handed, because then, on average, 66% of the game, you have one of those two out there.
Yeah.
And if you're firing muffins up the middle to Austin Matthews, he's going to bury him. If you're not back checking, and who's a fast player that's not on Canada? Because Canada's kind of got if Dylan Larkin.
Yeah.
If you're standing still upright and not caring, Dylan Larkin will beat you even if you got a 50-foot head start on him.
Dude, the way he skated, Brady Tkachuk's out racing him. Like anyone on that team would.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like he went slow. At a certain point, he was just he was the closest guy to the puck and completely vertical gliding. Like,
yeah, it was bad.
I've seen guys go slow
and then
bad. his controller disconnected. Like, I'm still blown away by it. I've got my hands up in the air. I'm getting heated just thinking about it.
And that's two guys there. That's Bouchard and Dobson, both guys that had have had unreal offensive seasons, and both in contract years. I think they're going to lose some money because, who gives a shit if you're a defenseman dropping point per game from the blue line if you're costing your team game after game and you're a liability defensively out there. Like if I'm Ekholm, I would have been livid after that to be, he's the veteran, he's the old guy. And you see the young, Bouchard skating isn't great. Let's not act like, he's got elite skating. But if you're Ekholm and you're busting your ass off to try and get back and you see your defensive partner just not giving a shit, that's got to be tough. That's got to be very, very just frustrating.
Like that, honestly.
It's also it's not fair to Skinner as well.
No,
that's not fair to Stuart Skinner to see your defenseman kind of hang you out to dry there.
Yeah, a team that has as much goalie struggles as Edmonton, the last thing they need is their defenseman saying, Skinner's got this one. Let's just let him 1v1. Like, dude, I do think at this point, Dobson should probably not make the team. And honestly, all 6 defensemen you have on your team are probably guys who are used to playing at least 23, 24 plus minutes a night. Like, I think you can run the top 2 pairs for 26 minutes each, and then maybe you just shelter the hell out of the Edmonton boys on Bouchard and just run him for the power play. Like, he might have played himself into a defenseman's Stamkos' position of you're going to get sheltered like crazy because we don't trust you, and go have fun on the power play.
Yeah,
Like,
but I think that just sends the wrong message. And
I
not only
don't.
that, it's kind of unfair to the other defensemen who, are gonna be like, it's gonna be
Oh, but
tiresome out there
they're
because, you
incredible
know
defensemen. I think the
Mhm.
caliber of guys they have, they will be fine rotating a fifth guy in to those other lineups. And
But I'd
or
rather
honestly,
just
you know
take
what?
a
Bruno,
Petrangelo then at that point. I would just take a Petrangelo and be like, just be our, third pairing guy and play regular minutes as opposed to having, Bouchard and be like, you're barely going to play 5-on-5, but we'll put you out there on the power play. I'd rather just have a defenseman that you can rely on.
yeah,
And fuck,
maybe.
if need be, with the skill Canada has, you almost don't even need a defenseman on your second power play. Like if you want to run Cale Makar on the first one and just run 5 forwards on your second one.
The only reason I would say he hasn't played himself off the team yet
I'm
is
not saying he's off the team, like by no means.
I think he probably should be. The only reason I don't think he has is because McDavid's going to want him on number one power play. I think McDavid's going to want him
I see. I don't. I
on there,
don't. I don't think so.
but
Like, would McDavid like it? Sure, it'd be nice. But also, if you're McDavid, and you're like, you know what? This is the one chance I'm ever gonna get. Well, not ever, but like you finally have the opportunity. We can be like, fuck, I can be out there with Crosby, McKinnon. I can have Makar on the back end. Like
yeah,
that's also got to be pretty exciting. Um, an
yeah,
opportunity for McDavid as well.
yeah. Like
Like, is Bouchard still on the team? Probably, but like if
it's way more of a conversation now.
yeah, I think like if
He's
that's
not a
the
rock.
effort level he's gonna be displaying out there, like yeah,
Yeah, like you might sacrifice a little offense, but how much offense really are you? How how much of a downgrade is Petrangelo, right? Like it's not like we're talking about some bum. Like
exactly right. Like you're gonna have elite defensemen not on the team
yeah,
regardless. So
Petrangelo's
like
got
you've got other options.
14 points in 18 games. Like
Yeah,
damn, what a he's going to be our defensive specialist on the third pair. Yeah, they'd be fine without him.
yeah.
You gotta prove yourself to get on that team, and he's proving the opposite right now.
But I believe that does wrap up everything we have on the list here. Oh, one final thing. I'm gonna shout out. Carolina can't keep getting away with this of losing their good depth pieces, bringing other guys in, and they immediately excel. Eric Robinson, 17 games played. He's got 12 goals, all even strength, averaging 12 minutes per game. Who's been a kind of a career, uh, I think, kind of fighter. Like he's not a designated fighter, but like he'll drop the mitts, and he's just always kind of been like a depth player. And he goes to Carolina, and he's lighting it up.
Yeah,
So shout out to
Eric,
Eric Robinson for being a workhorse for Carolina because anyone who goes there seems to just excel in whatever role they're in.
yeah, and you know what?
But some
Maybe
good
that's
coaching.
because I don't think they're afraid to get rid of guys who aren't helping. Like they've had a
Yeah,
couple of guys in the last few years that just don't fit, and they don't try and make it work. They don't say, "Oh, he'll figure it out." If they don't work, they're like, "We'll find somebody who will," and
yeah,
usually they do. Like it's kind of
yeah,
wild, but that's a very they have a very proactive management group. So you
yeah,
know what? There's something to be said about always being able to adapt.
yeah. All right,
Uh,
put that out of the way. You have one final segment here for us.
I do, and we are actually going back to goaltenders for this. This will be some trivia. We're not going to take an incredible amount of time with this because some of these are easier than others, but honestly, I definitely don't expect you to get a lot of these. Um,
Okay.
I have a list of each franchise's winningest goaltender all time.
Oh boy.
And I also have their number of wins here. Um, we're just going to go through the teams as they're listed here, and I'm going to give you 10 seconds for each one. No amount, no limit on how many guys you can guess. I'll say no if it's wrong, and I'll let you know if it's right. but you'll get 10-ish seconds for each team, and we'll see how
Okay.
many you can get.
Okay.
And I will keep track of your score the best I can here. But to start it off, winningest goaltender, and I have these sorted by division, so we'll be going Atlantic, Metro, Central, and then Pacific.
Okay.
And just so I don't have to answer it in the middle, I'm just going to make sure. It looks like this includes expansion teams. So like, where
Okay.
are they? I guess they would, it's not like Atlanta has a ton. Honestly, I don't think that comes up anywhere. I would assume this includes like when teams have their histories mixed, but I'm not noticing any here that that actually comes into play. So,
Okay.
but starting off in the Atlantic, winningest goaltender for the Florida Panthers.
Florida Panthers. Is it Bobrovsky?
It is not Bobrovsky.
Luongo.
It is Roberto Luongo with 230.
Yeah, he probably got it during his second stint with them.
Yeah, I don't think he got all of them the first time, but
yeah,
230 still quite a lot. The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Ooh.
This is not a recent name. The picture's black and white.
Oh, Johnny Bower.
Nope, that would have been my guess as well.
Yeah, for black and white. Oof,
I literally heard the name before. Gun to my head, I'm not remembering this name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it is Turk Broda with 304.
Okay, I wouldn't have guessed it, but like, okay, yeah.
The Boston Bruins.
Bruins. Wouldn't be Tim Thomas.
Nope.
How do I have to go really far back?
No.
Okay. Okay, so then it is Tuukka Rask then.
It is Tuukka Rask.
Okay.
308.
Wow, 308. I didn't think he had that many.
Yeah, he was very good for them for a long time. The Ottawa Senators.
Senators, I'm going to throw Craig Anderson out there.
It is Craig Anderson with 202 wins.
202, okay.
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh, Vasilevsky
with 301 wins. They have it listed as 300, but that's outdated. So you got a big shutty. The Buffalo Sabres.
Ooh, Buffalo. Oh, Ryan Miller.
It is Ryan Miller, 284.
284. That would have been more.
Right?
Well,
I guess he did play. Good. Yeah, and he did play in, what was it, Anaheim for quite a while?
Yeah.
I keep wanting to read the names, and I have to look at the logo and say the team. Detroit Red Wings.
Ooh.
Got a lot of answers it could be here. They've had a lot of good goalies over the years.
I mean, maybe Terry Sawchuk.
It is Terry Sawchuk. 350 wins.
That might be the toughest team. Oh no, actually, never mind.
No.
Turk
Broda.
Yeah. No, I just mean in terms of like guys you could pick.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Like Toronto, I was sitting there like, could it be James Reimer?
Montreal Canadiens. Another team with a lot of guys.
See, I was thinking, I was like, oh, this one might be tough, but no, because I know this one's Carey Price.
It is with 361 wins. Carey Price.
Very doing all that without a point per game player in any season.
On that team. Wow. Probably the easiest on this list. The New Jersey Devils.
Oh yeah, brother. Next.
You want to take a guess at wins?
I
don't know if you know how close he is on his career stats, but
it's around 680. I know.
Yeah,
so I'm just gonna say even 680.
688 wins.
688. Yeah, that's going to be tough for a goalie to beat.
The Carolina Hurricanes. I could not name a lot of Hurricanes goalies, honestly. I could name maybe a couple of their recent ones, and then this guy, and that's about it.
It should, well, no, yeah, Cam Ward.
It is
literally
Cam
like
Ward.
The only goalie I can think of off the top of my head at this moment.
318 wins for him. It's actually a lot considering they were pretty bad for a while there. They're also very good in the 2000s, though. So
yeah,
good for Cam. The Washington Capitals would not have got this.
Oh, the Capitals. Wouldn't be Holtby. Probably could have been Holtby if they held on to him.
Probably.
The Capitals.
Four.
Olaf Kolzig.
It is
literally the only.
Olaf
I was gonna say he's the only other Capitals goal. Oh, actually, no. Yeah. He's the only other one that kind of made sense. Oh, 301. Okay.
Yeah, I would have guessed Grubauer, Holtby, and would have been done. Like.
Yeah, Grubauer didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, like I knew he wouldn't be
the
answer,
later.
But like that's like
I think Grubauer will cross my mind later.
I'll keep it in mind.
Not with the Caps though. No, he wasn't there that long. At least
not as a
regular.
New York Rangers.
Oh yeah, Henrik Lundqvist.
Henrik Lundqvist, the king.
Yeah.
459 wins, absolute stud. The New York Islanders. I would have thought this number would be higher.
Billy Smith.
Billy Smith, 304 wins.
I should have said Rick DiPietro. Just for fun.
No, he has the most checks cashed for them.
He's got the most career earnings all time by any Islander.
What a legend.
Well deserved.
Well, yeah, it's because they didn't want it. They just refused to pay Tavares.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia, Ron Hextall.
Ron Hextall, 240.
Yeah.
The Penguins.
Fleury,
375. He's on a roll. The Columbus Blue Jackets.
Is that Bobrovsky?
This one is Bobrovsky at 213.
So like you can't think back too far because they're like only they came like 2000 I think or something like that. Actually, I think it was 2000.
The Winnipeg Jets. We are now into the Central.
Hellebuck.
It's Hellebuck, 287.
Wow, 287 already. Woo.
Right? Up until this and last year, he's been underrated. He is very consistently not left my top 3 goalies for at least 5 years now. The Minnesota Wild.
Ooh.
I would have got this one just because for absolutely no reason. I was a big fan of this guy when I was a kid.
What was the last name? I know it's not Nikolai Habibulin. I know it's not. That's not my guess. But that's the name that keeps coming to my mind. Nicholas Backstrom.
Yeah, Nicholas Backstrom.
Nicholas Backstrom, that's what it is.
194.
Really? Only 194?
Right?
Wow. I would have guessed much higher.
Gustafson's coming for him. The Dallas Stars.
Turco?
Marty Turco. 262. Didn't know he had that many. The Colorado Avalanche. Also with 262 wins.
Patrick Waugh.
It's Patty Waugh.
Yeah.
The Utah Hockey Club.
Okay, is this just Utah?
With 6 wins. Yeah.
Okay, so Connor Ingram.
It's Connor Ingram. St. Louis. This is a tough one. For some reason, I feel like you might get this, but like, could be me.
How many wins?
151, and he's
Oh,
not
shit.
and he's not recent either.
Um.
They must not have many goalies sticking
Wow.
around.
Like, is it just Bennington if it's that low?
No, it is Mike Lute.
Um. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. Damn,
No,
really? Only 151.
right. I've heard
Wow.
that name before, but I didn't even know he played for St. Louis. Like,
Yeah. I didn't think it would have been him.
yeah, I
Bennington was the
like
only reasonable guess I could make.
yeah, that's the only goalie I could think of for that team, honestly. Like,
Oh, actually, you know what? I might have if I had longer, I might have guessed Jake Allen because
fair.
he was just there for what feels like forever. But yeah, I wouldn't have got that one.
Chicago Blackhawks.
Um, Tony Esposito,
Correct. 418 wins.
418.
Nashville Predators. Get back to
Yeah,
some easier
Pecorine.
ones. That's Pecorine. 369. Nice.
Nice. He
Uh,
retired for a reason.
into the Pacific Division, one more win with 370 on the LA Kings.
Quick, Jonathan Quick, the guy who's still balling out,
Still balling out.
still playing at an elite level.
He's coming for Lundqvist's record now. The
Yeah,
Vegas
he's the
Golden
goalie
Knights.
on the Rangers coming for
Yeah,
Lundqvist's record.
he's a proven winner.
Yeah, he is. 3 cups.
The Golden Knights.
Oh, that one's probably also Fleury.
It is with 117. You racked him up quickly.
Before they dumped him for literally peanuts. Not even peanuts. They didn't get nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, peanuts would be a little bit of cap relief or something.
Yeah.
The Vancouver Canucks.
Is that Luongo as well?
It is with 252.
252. Is that more or less than he had with Florida? I think that was more.
That's more. That is
That's more.
22 more wins.
22
with
more.
the Canucks. Calgary Flames.
Oh, that's Kiprusoff.
Mika Kiprusoff, 305 wins. Edmonton Oilers. And it's not Stuart Skinner.
Good, because I wasn't gonna guess him anyways. Edmonton. Grant Fuhr.
It is Grant Fuhr, 226.
226.
Yeah, right. Considering he was hanging out with Gretzky, like
Yeah.
they must have moved on from him quicker than I realized.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was kind of thinking that number would be a bit higher. But what do I know?
The Seattle Kraken.
Okay. This should be Grubauer.
It is Joey No, it is Philip Grubauer.
Oh, I was gonna be like, damn, Decord already. I mean, probably
50.
not long until it is Decord. How many?
50 on the dot.
Yeah, Decord. Yeah, Decord's coming for that with that new contract. He's coming,
which is looking pretty good right about now. I think he's up to he's hovering around a 920, if I'm not mistaken. He's up there somewhere. 2 teams left. The Anaheim Ducks.
Giguère.
Is Jean,
yeah. Is it? Yep. Oh, okay.
It is Jean-Sébastien Giguère at 206 wins. And the final team, the San Jose Sharks.
Oh, fuck. It's got to be my boy Joner. No, it's Nabokov.
It's Evgeny Nabokov. It's 293 wins.
Yeah.
He was damn good with them.
And people said they were fools for giving up Kiprusoff. It's like, you don't need both of them. You only needed one, and
yeah,
I mean, there was no wrong pick between the two. But
yeah, well, honestly,
it worked out perfectly for both sides.
Yeah, they both got their most winningest goaltender there. Kipper with 305, Nabokov with 293. Like, they're 12 away from each other.
When Nabokov won the Calder, that kind of was like, all right,
You'd be crazy.
that's the guy. Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, you did way better than I thought you would. Like, some of those were easier than others, but some of them were not that easy. You only didn't get 2 of them. So.
And those 2, I wouldn't have ever gotten them. You could have given me an hour.
Mike
I
Lute
wouldn't have.
on the Blues and Turk Broda on the Maple Leafs. Yeah.
There was no way I was getting those ones.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
I was surprised by a couple. Like, I was surprised by Craig Anderson with Ottawa. Like, I know he's there for a while, but just not the guy that you would think would be it.
Lead a franchise. Yeah, some of these teams they clearly just don't hold on to guys for very long because there's a couple of these teams that they've had great goaltenders.
Do you have who would have been for Arizona? Is that on there, or is it just Utah now?
No, it's just Utah. I don't have it here, but I could probably look it up.
I'm just curious because I'm not even. Yeah, I'd just be curious to know who ended up with it for the Coyotes, since they're technically, a banished franchise now. Their stats didn't carry over to Utah.
Most wins for Arizona Coyotes. That's team stats. We need goalie.
Need goalie stats. Who went down in history?
There's no way. Oh my god. Dude, that's bad.
I was gonna say it's probably not anything great.
All right. I'm gonna give you a guess. Higher or lower for your winningest goaltender all time? Arizona Coyotes or the Seattle Kraken? The Kraken were at 50 with Grubauer.
For wins?
Yeah. Career wins.
But it's got to be the Coyotes still.
It is by 5.
Really?
Their winningest goaltender is Darcy Kemper with 55.
No, there's no way.
Yeah, Mike Smith had 48. Antti Ranta had 46. Vejmelka had 44. Ingram had 29. Like,
nah, there's no way. Because what about
Are they just not counting Phoenix? Is that it?
Oh, probably, yeah. Because I was thinking like Brizgalov's had to have had more, but yeah, he was only there when they were the Phoenix Coyotes, so that makes sense. Because I know Brizgalov definitely, I think he was only there for like 4, 5, 6 years. It wasn't a long stint, but he definitely would have had more than.
I was like, there's no way they've been around, man.
Yeah.
Most wins in a career. There we go. There's some real freaking numbers. It is Brizgalov with 130.
130. Okay, that makes more sense.
It looks very similar to the other list, just higher numbers. Like, there was a lot of guys right behind Kemper. Brizgalov had 130. Bobby Asensa with 129. Mike Smith, 128. Abby Boulin, 126. They have 4 guys within 4 wins right at the top of the list.
Wow. I was gonna say, when you asked that question, I was like, is this like a trick question? Like, it's obviously got to be higher at the Coyotes. Oh yeah, because they did do that kind of split when Phoenix and then became the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, I knew it had to be something messed up. I was looking at it, I was like, really? Like, I didn't.
Low-key, I'll still say to this day,
pay attention.
And I will down this hill. That old Phoenix Coyotes logo, the little dog-looking thing, is still one of like my favorite logos of all time. Like, the one with the hockey stick is cool, but like the little...
Just the Phoenix head? Or the Coyote head, rather?
Yeah. The little fucking like...
I mean,
because I always looked at, like, I know it's supposed to be kind of like, I think, hair, but I was kind of looked at like the 2 little arms or legs with like a tail. That logo is just so good in my opinion.
I
It's
definitely
such
think
a
the new
badass one.
Kachina logo is better, but I definitely don't have a problem with the
That team
how it
just
looks now.
produced like just unreal jerseys and logos.
Yeah. And if any of
They
their
they
fans
didn't
followed
miss.
them over, now they're the hockey club.
Yeah.
They did
Apparently their jerseys went on sale though at
yeah.
the
Did you
Delta
see any
Center.
videos of it? There were
No,
there was a lineup out the door and like around the block. Like there's a guy with a
really.
camera just watching the line, and he just walks for like 2.5 minutes just around the block. You never see the end of the line either. Like it just goes into the freaking sunset.
But I
Like
mean, like
like
I get it.
that's
Like
crazy.
good for Utah. But you also got to think like you like if you thought about any team, and it's like when the like if the Vegas Golden Knights, when they released the reverse retros, if it was like you can't buy them online, it was only like just in the team store, like you'd have kind of the same thing. You'd have a lineup for us. Like
Yeah.
again, good for Utah. I'm surprised it took this long for them to you know sell jerseys finally. Like
But
figured they
yeah,
would have wanted it since
it's
the
nice
day
that people are
one.
still excited,
Yeah. Oh
despite
yeah.
not
No, it's
having the logo and everything.
yeah. No, yeah. Like, but yeah, 100% good for them. Uh, Gonna be the Yeti, and then people
Yeah,
can
they
buy
better
more
be.
jerseys again uh, next year, next season.
Next season. But
Um,
that's all we have for this one, I believe.
yep, it's all we got. I know you gotta skedaddle out of here, so we'll wrap it up by thanking all of you once again for tuning in and listening to another episode of the Stick 'em Up podcast. You want to talk hockey with us? You want to rip us apart? You want to make your case for maybe who should be on any of the Four Nations teams? That's going to be a reoccurring topic all the way up until the rosters are announced. I don't know the exact date, but I believe it is coming up within the next month, as far as I know. So if you want to talk about that, you want to talk anything revolving hockey, more than welcome to with us through any of our socials. They are down in the description of every platform that we are on. You can go click the links. Come to us, follow, come say hi, come talk hockey. Braden, one final thought before we bounce.
Just that on top of it, in case we don't get it added in time, below in the description of these, but we are on Blue Sky now as well on the new social media app. So if you wanted to ever interact with us, but you didn't feel like going on to Twitter, we're over on Blue Sky now. So we have the exact same handle there at SEU Hockey. So go check us out if you're joining all the people joining on the fun there.
Yeah, I just learned about it earlier today.
Yeah,
So I'm excited
a
to
lot of
figure out
people
how
are.
that works.
Tampa Bay Lightning, their account is about a day old. So I followed them for us. I went to follow the Sharks. They don't have one yet, but the San Jose Barracuda do. So we're following the Barracuda.
The Barracuda's been throwing out Club Penguin memes and whatnot on there, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
So if you're a Club Penguin fan, there you go. But with that does wrap up everything we have for this episode. We hope you guys all enjoyed it, and make sure to come back on Friday for our next one where Braden is going to do something really stupid. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Then we'll see you guys on Friday.